ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
It's another day of the ESL Pro League. Hello and welcome. I'm Alex Machine Richardson. I'm joined by, I'm not going to even try and butcher it, YNK is here. I was trying to do his name and I was just hurting his feelings yesterday. But we will be talking about yesterday first of all. Yankee, you were there as well. Those games basically were a bit of a trying time for Mouse Sports. Of course, your pal Nico had a couple of rises and falls. And we're going to go ahead straight away with that recap of what happened yesterday.
Yeah, we had the hot match, the Score Esports hot match.
Debatable how hot it was actually in practice.
SK and Flipside. Flipside were pretty dominant on the first map. I thought they were going to take it 2-0, but SK managed to bounce back on train and equalize the series, and then we moved on to Mouse Sports versus Dignitas, which we did have a close first map, although Dignitas did have a huge lead after the first half.
Yeah, it looked like that Cobble was going to be going very rinse and repeat, very kind of readable considering Dignitas' strengths on Cobble. However, Mouse Sports managed to make it interesting in their second half and actually took us into overtime where Dignitas did just thrive off a couple of very surprising rounds. I think in your opinion you said that actually Mouse kind of had the right to win that one.
Yeah, which is surprising. Dignitas was up 11-4 after the first half, and Mouse did win the second half. Pistol started coming back. Then they lose an anti-eco round, right? They lose a round only to Pistols, and they were up 15-14. They had the match point as well, but Dignitas managed to pull it back in a 2v2 and then win the map on overtime.
Yeah, and then rode that momentum into Inferno, where map we hadn't seen too much from Mouse Sports, and they proceeded to lose that 16-10. But looking forward to seeing if there's any more development with Mouse Sports on Inferno. We're actually going to get to see a bit of a showcase of strong Inferno play today as well, because today's games are going to be featuring, of course, Fnatic on Inferno. But before we talk about today's games, what I do want to do is take a look at those standings. It enables us to see where that top four is sitting. Of course, the top four going to that offline event, battling for their slice of $400,000. Still, Astralis holding that top spot with those 13 wins under their belt, conceding just 3 losses. And actually, NIP, they've played less and lost less too. So keep your eyes on those Swedes.
Definitely, and also keep an eye out on how many wins the teams actually have in how many games played. So we have G2 who are in third place right now with 12 wins, 6 losses, which obviously means they already played 18 games. So they only have 4 games left. So, you know, if they lose maybe a game or two, they might drop out of the top 4, because you can see Navi is there in 5th place with 4 games less, but 2 losses less as well.
Yeah, and you've made a really good point there. So we actually want to take a look at Navi. They may not be playing today, but because of their position and because of G2's position, it's actually interesting to see what games are left for these teams. So we'll start with Navi. I want to take a look at them because they basically have got, I think it's 4 games left? Yeah, sorry. This says
they have 8 games left.
That says NIP, but they have 8 games left. Excuse me, maths is hard.
You see?
4 matches left.
How is that
So
possible?
18 games each. But 18? There they are. I guess it's going to be G2, Fnatic, Flipside, and Mouse.
Teams, so you play 22. 11 games times 2, 22 games.
I would say that too.
I think producer Matt needs some help with math.
They're 10-4. 14, and they have 8 games left, 2 against each team. Because
right.
they're playing 2 best of ones.
Yeah, but they have, potentially 8. They have 8 maps left.
Yes,
that's what I meant.
Yes, you're right. We've got our head around it, guys. It is going to be GT, Fnatic, F3, otherwise known as Flipside, and Mouse Sports. But to be fair, looking at Navi in their current form, those are all going to be winnable games. Fnatic going to be their biggest hurdle, though. Seeing how they perform in an online environment is sometimes debatable, though. All in all, pretty. I mean, look at that Flipside and Mouse games. Those could very well be 4 wins straight up in the bag.
I mean, you know, on paper you would think so, but we've seen so far in this league that nothing really happens as you expected most of the time. A lot of these teams can make upsets, especially seeing as it is a best of one in the end. You just play it back to back, so maybe they get a map they're comfortable on, they win both pistols, and suddenly it's much harder for the favorite to actually take the game.
And talking of the favorite, we are going to be seeing Fnatic up against Flipside first. They're going to be the first two games that we bring you today. Flipside, at this point in time, we have seen them starting to pick up some wins. Let's not forget that the start of last week, they had 0 wins, 6 losses. Now they've managed to accumulate some, but they're going to be having a tough task ahead of them, I feel, going up against Fnatic on both Overpass and Inferno. But I can't help but feel, Janko, you're primarily drawn to those second games of the night.
Definitely. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but we talked about the Flipside Fnatic matchup briefly last night, saying how maybe Fnatic is going to, save a couple of things, the major is coming up too, and so on. The point is, the problem for Flipside is that Fnatic can play a complete free-for-all style, and still it's going to be incredibly hard for Flipside to deal with them. They played a couple of times, not recently though. I don't think Flipside ever managed to get double digits even against them, and that's, the story with Flipside. They rarely make ups, they rarely beat tier 1 teams, even in best of one, so anything else than a 2-0 for Fnatic would be a huge surprise for me.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point you make about Fnatic, to the point where, they don't have to show any of their, strategies in order to find success. In fact, a lot of their strategies involve just trading efficiently and just being the aimers that they are, the players that they are. And so they should be able to dispatch of Flipside, but that is a should. We've been surprised in this Pro League already, and there certainly are some strengths for Flipside, but let's just go ahead and focus on our first matchup, so we do have some time to talk about it. We are going to focus, of course, on Flipside versus Fnatic. Look at those standings. There's a huge telling tale there. Just in that record, you can see 11 wins already for the Swedes and just 3 for Flipside. They are 10 games in.
Yeah, looking at this match, I wanted to say something maybe like Flipside might have a chance on Overpass. It's not a map that Fnatic plays often and so on, but the problem is that Fnatic actually had decent results on Overpass. They did manage to beat, I think, Astralis on it, which is a great map for them. They did beat Luminosity as well, so those are teams that are actually good on Overpass, and Fnatic managed to beat them as well. So
I mean, Flipside are the same, right? You were at Counterpit, you witnessed that Overpass. That's something. That's gonna.
It's true, but you always have to take those games with a pinch of salt, right? Because Navi was up 1-0. They were taking. Maybe they got a bit complacent as well. They didn't look like themselves in that game. Of course, you always have to give props to the team that actually won the map. Yeah, they did win it in the end, but you could see coming into the third map of those series, when actually it was, elimination time, that Navi did step up their game and had a pretty easy win on the third map. So, props to one side, to Flipside, but it wasn't really I don't think it was that memorable.
It wasn't the Navi we saw against Luminosity and Katowice on that same map. But, convincing win all the same. It was 16-9 to Flipside on Overpass. So there's still, a good margin, so good signs from them.
It was really important in that game that World Edit was able to, get the entry kill a couple of times on Guardian, who is obviously the, star player of Navi, the one that goes for those early plays for his team as well. So, we talked about it yesterday as well. World Edit has been stepping up, so it's important for them. I don't think it's gonna matter. The problem is I don't think it's gonna matter at all against Fnatic, but for the major maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, we've already seen some very interesting ways to describe Flipside by some articles. It was they do sometimes look like and feel like the punching bag of the CS scene occasionally. They are always in the major, however, not advancing as far as perhaps they'd like. That's for certain. But I'm starting to sense some parallels between when we talk about Flipside and when we talk about Navi, in just the sense that it seems to be, Guardian. Guardian has to step up, and then we sit there and Flipside, we're like, World Edit has to deliver. And I mean, is there actually anything there between these two teams in terms of they have the same kind of reliances?
I have to say it's different.
It's a tough one.
No, it's much more different actually, in my opinion, because Guardian is someone who performs all the time, basically, right? You're used to it, to him having a good performance. Sometimes he plays over the top, carries the game by himself. He rarely underperforms, right? But you also have players like Flamey, who has been playing really well from the beginning of the year, and at times Edward steps up or seized and so on. While on the other hand, Flipside has a problem there. It's something we talk about frequently, that at times it looks like they really do lack that firepower, because if World Edit and, let's say, Bondik are not playing really well. You could see how they struggle even with their strategies and execute and so on. They struggle to get those kills, right? To get entrance into bomb sites or to defend if they're playing the CT side. So I'd say that it's not just the similar play styles. There is also a significant difference in firepower, in my opinion.
And when there is a lapse in firepower, does that, and this is just to kind of maybe a bit of a newbie question, but when you have a lack of firepower, does that often translate into a weaker T side? Because I can't help but feel you need strong individuals more so on that T side. CTs, they have to come to you. You have to make the play happen on that attacking side.
Not necessarily so, because the way it works with tier 1 teams, I think MBK phrased it well, that right now CT sides are like mini T sides, because you still have to, because there's more time left, you have to fight for areas of the map, you have to fight for map control, otherwise experienced tier 1 teams will just exploit that, take advantage of it, and they will be able to win a lot of rounds on their T side. Navi is a great example for that, even on hard maps like Train, Overpass and so on. So I think in the end it comes down to that you need to rely more on team play strategies, which is what we see from Flipside, right? And until some of your players maybe get to that star level of play. A lot of these players, okay, we mentioned Flamey, right? Flamey was, even when he broke out, he was actually playing with Flipside, with that, I think they were called that team back then. And he was someone who's, this player has like good aim, he has a couple of crazy games here and there, but he wasn't really good consistently and so on. Then he switched over to Navi, and slowly throughout last year he was upping his form, so to speak.
And I love this discussion when you have players that are like, they catch the eye of a big team, right? And then when they get picked up, everyone's like, why on earth have you done that? And then you see that growth process. Do you need a big team to kind of give you that kind of push to get to that tier 1 level? Or could you actually have like a diamond in the rough, like a T1 player just sitting in a team that he doesn't belong in?
Of course you have. I played with one for a long time.
Absolutely,
Nico is an amazing player and always had the potential for something like that. But in the end, it's a team game, right? The player himself will not come to light as much if the team is not performing, even though I think a lot of players and people from the community knew that, let's say, Nico was an amazing player, even though we as a team didn't have many great results. But it's only when that player moves into a good team where he can show his full potential and play against other top teams frequently is when you can see that. And also for a player to really be good, he needs to get that experience playing against tier 1 opposition on LAN time and time again. It's something that we mentioned briefly about Shara, right? That he is a player who has potential, but maybe needs just a bit more experience, a bit more time to get used to this different style of play.
And he's certainly going to get it at that major. I mean, that's one way. That's a trial by fire if ever I saw it. Here's a plane ticket. Go see what you can do in Columbus. Off you go. There you go. Looking forward to seeing what Flipside can do. It's definitely safe to say that we're speculating Fnatic could have some trouble. But we do sometimes run out of time in our segments, Janko. We sometimes struggle to have anything too much time to analyze. So let's take an opportunity when we aren't rushing into a segment to just touch on that second map as well. It's going to be on Inferno, right? And I know you've probably talked about it until the cows come home, about the strengths Fnatic have on Inferno. They call it their favorite map. Is it something that you'd be willing to just kind of expand on to perhaps a newer viewer that wants to know why Inferno is known as the kind of Fnatic home?
Well, I think it's mostly stems from the players enjoying, they enjoy that map a lot. You have Crimson Olofmeister on B who play together a long time. They're really comfortable at those positions as well. In general, it comes down to that, right? Are the players comfortable playing? Do they like playing the map? I mean, every player, everyone who plays Counter-Strike has a map they dislike or they like for some reason, right?
Favorite map?
My favorite map? It was actually Nuke while it was in the pool. Right now, it's probably Cash.
Did you try the new one?
Nope.
What? You haven't tried your new reworked favorite map?
I have the time, Alex.
There's a PC upstairs, Yankee. You've been here for 2 hours. You could have been running around.
I know,
Nuke.
it doesn't have enough space to win.
Did you actually try?
Counter-Strike.
That's brilliant.
Unfortunately. But yeah, I think it's that, and it also suits their players, right? Flasha can go alone towards the banana, and that's something that's really important, right? It was before, a long time ago, it was Freiberg. Yeah. More recently, maybe it was Flasha. So his role there is to try and force the two CT players to stay on B, right? So he needs to pin 2 players to that bomb site, but he can't die. So that, in theory, that sounds really easy,
impossible.
right? So you just need to, make some noise, keep 2 players on that bomb site, so we can do like something else towards the A bomb site. But you can't die, because if you die, then they suddenly have all that part of the map is under their control and allows them to rotate and so on. So that is something it's really tricky to do, and every team has a specialist, so to speak, right? Who does who has these roles in a team? You see Getright do it on Cash towards B and so on. So you have to keep an eye out of. That's why I dislike stats, maybe for some reason, right? Because you can't show that in a stat. You can show what Flusha, let's say in that situation, brings for his team with a stat. We don't have that yet. It would be cool if we could somehow, get some more advanced stats. Lurpis wrote a couple of articles, I think, about it as well. But yeah, you have a lot of values that a player can bring to the team, which are not really tangible as much.
Yeah, and I can understand that. Like perhaps I'm trying to think what you'd call that stat. Keeping a player at a site.
I mean, that's not, that can never be
lurk rating.
That can never be in a stat. But some other stats, maybe I don't even know how people could implement flashes and so on. But you also have right now we have entry kill, opening duel or whatever.
Yeah.
But it could be the same if the team is going for an execute. Flusha gets the first kill and dies 2 seconds after. That's not an entry kill. It's just he just instantly got traded.
Yeah.
But let's say if JW gets a peak with an AWP and puts his team in a 5v4 position and there's no refrag, that's obviously much more important, right? Because then you can play around it and so on.
I mean, with flashes, that's being done. I've seen it. I played a couple of gathers where they've got the flash assist now. Someone's just doing it now.
I saw it on Twitter, but I didn't have the time to really
so
look
they
into
actually get if someone dies while they were flashed by you, you actually get an additional assist. I think that's quite cool. I like that idea.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, either way, we are still preparing ourselves for that game, and we're going to delve a little deeper into the second matchup that's coming up. It is going to be NIP versus Astralis. Now, this is a matchup that we want to have time to talk about, and so let's actually take full advantage of this, right? Because this, in my books, is going to be one of the biggest matches of the week.
Yeah, definitely. And also it's interesting, especially between these two teams. I don't think they faced each other ever since Cluj, basically, which is a long time, especially in Tier 1 Counter-Strike. It's mostly because NIP didn't play as many tournaments this year, right? But historically, NIP would always beat the Dane team, right? Astralis, TSM, however they were called in the past. But in 2015, at some point, obviously, Astralis became a much stronger team. They managed to win a couple of tournaments as well, make the finals and so on. They were probably the biggest favorite to win Cluj, and they meet NIP in the quarterfinals, and NIP just has, a vintage performance where they completely demolish the Danes on 2 maps. So I think Astralis is definitely looking for blood because of that one.
I think they want not only blood, but they want revenge. NIP have got such a good success rate against Astralis. It's actually mind-boggling when you actually take a look at the recent games.
And I'm particularly interested in seeing NIP play because they have been improving. As we can see, their score in Pro League as well. It's 12-2, I think, something like that. These are actually the top. They're the top 2 teams in the group as well.
Yeah. Well, we are going to be talking about that a little further. That was just a little teaser for you guys. What's coming up straight after these first 2 maps, where it is going to be Fnatic versus Flipside. I'm certainly looking forward to it. We do start on Overpass, and I can once again introduce your casting pair for this one. You know their faces well. It is going to be Pansy and Uber. Take it away, you guys.
Thank you very much, boys. I'd like to thank you guys now. Used to us. None of us been fired yet over the last week, which is definitely good.
Surprising, more than anything.
We've done well, but
especially after your language. Thankfully, there's no train yet
that was more mild, I think, than yours on Sunday. Let's be real here. Let's just get out the list of past transgressions. No, we'll say that for later. It is going to be Overpass here. It's going to be Flipside versus Fnatic as well. Lauren, we chatted about it a little bit earlier on. Fnatic have been utterly dominant on this map in the last 3 months. You can see that one right there as well. Their recent foe was Dignitas. It was 16-5. We actually got to see that back a few days ago. And I expect their form to be no less prominent.
Yeah, it's like Flipside to me have actually been doing really nicely recently. I've been actually really enjoying how they've been playing. Their T-side on Mirage was beautifully structured, well set, well placed. You saw some really nice kind of good signs within Flipside. That was something that I enjoyed watching. However, everything changed against Fnatic, and Fnatic seem to... I think, as again, it feels like we're repeating ourselves every time we see them, but it is what it is. You've got to make them respect you first, then you can maybe play a more default style against them, because Flipside are one of those kind of more classic teams, right? They play that classic style of CS sometimes. So, I don't know. It's going to be difficult for, I think, Flipside to get the game they need against Fnatic.
Shara has already unwound the silencer from his USP. Of
course he has.
In typical form. And yes, let's see if Flipside can take Fnatic to a point where they can respect them, if at all. And there's going to have to be a few rounds at least invested into just that. And we know the Fnatic are just going to try and come forward and get a bit aggressive here. Towards long is the order of the day. There's 3 plays for Fnatic pressing that one there as well. Flusher and Underpass. Now, Flipside, we saw them yesterday a little bit slower, a little bit more leisurely as well. But let's hope they got up early in the morning because they're going to need that to take on Fnatic. So
I'm pretty sure Flusher used his smoke to cover the entrance towards toilet, so you could see Fnatic wrap around and get control there. So again, this is a nice play. This is actually not just the Glock train. It probably will eventually become one, but for now they're making sure they're getting some map control here. And already Flipside playing hyper passive, so you're going to get them all the way back into the sites. Bondic's pretty peaky, but there's still 2 other players pretty close by. Blade can rotate pretty quickly, and warded it over by Bang. So there's the first flash coming out. There was one other, and there's a second that was just placed behind them. And now here comes that Glock train. Great connection from Bondic. Now the pressure's going to come, though. Takes down another. Well played by Bondic then, making the most of this. And now Blade needs to step up as well. However, dinked up. The 2 players who are close by are so close to death now. The bomb's planted, and Fnatic have 3 in the site.
So the JW opting to press up as well. It's a little bit of a slowdown on Fnatic, care of Flipside, but will it be enough? There's 2 players, of course, with the bomb down now. Shara coming in from behind as well with that USP, with that god-awful sound that it does make, of course, but he's got 2 players to deal with. Crimson JW more than happy to sit on their laurels and just wait this one out for a bit.
Yeah, JW just pulled that back into Fnatic's favor. That was looking great for Flipside, and JW just denied it with the 4 kills. Taking an aggressive stance, bringing that Glock as close as he could to the USPSs and just trashing them. And again, the situation the Flipside had the upper hand in, and then the individual play for Fnatic just kind of turned it around. So again, Fnatic just kind of took the fights then and won them. So nicely done to them. A bit of a shame for Flipside because they started so well in that round. They did very nicely to get the advantage until the retake had to come through, and then, of course, Fnatic do Fnatic things.
Yeah, eventually Bondic wasn't able to just give ground up and actually back up. There's a nice smoke straight in towards towards Plaza. I think that'll bounce properly in front of Toilet. So.
It's a little off. But it's mostly to block Bondic's peak. It can block the peak from, I guess people call it Guardian, it's that sort of peak there. But again, it could be just a little bit missed as well, because there's one now having to cover the entrance that they were looking at before. So maybe these are some of the things that Fnatic have been trying to adjust, or that's just actually the intention of it. So again, 3 SMGs coming out, Dennis, Olaf and Flusher, Mac-10s galore, and the 2 rifles with Crims and JW. Flipside on the other hand, just CZs a 5-7. They've got armor here, so it's a matter of time before they might consider saving the likes of Markloff, especially, and Shara, but see what they can do, see if they can find anything, because at the moment, this is very clean from Fnatic here.
Fnatic had identified Toilets as a bit of a danger zone as well up against an armored up team with pistols, so instead they're going to go towards the B side. Dennis finds Shara there as well to need to push across the side, but Markloff going to try and come through and interrupt this plant. He does. Crims falls, his AK hits the ground, but JW very, very quickly to trade into that one. World Edit's pretty much locked out, and as Olaf Meister definitely throws away the key, and Bondic now has to come through underpass on his own with a smoke, some armor, and that CZ, but JW will be able to poke him through that doorway.
I don't know if he wants to. They already lost out on 1 rifle, initially recovered by Flusher, but JW's going to be kind of careful here because there's so many angles the Bondic could be in, and he's going to hear it step out, and there you go. The CZ's going to have the opportunity to do well. He's going to smoke it out and try and keep hold of that rifle if he can gather it. Oh my god, the door pushed it away! No, Bondic! He's got it though. He's going to make a mad dash and try and escape. Dennis is on the hunt as well. Bondic's going to try and kind of fake him out, almost like, alright, well, you'll think I'll run away, but I'm going to hold a close angle. Dennis could pincer him in from the back as well. Does get spotted there. Olaf goes down. And they don't want to lose anymore, if I'm honest, but there's the recovery from Dennis. P90 around the back. The 2 rifles remain, and Dennis makes a good bit of money with that P90.
Yeah, so it's a P90 and 2 Mac-10s thrown in the trash there, Fnatic. No longer staying with those ones here as well. Sustaining some casualties in that round, and that's going to be a Tech 9 for Olaf Meister. And Crims as well will probably have to just stick with the Glock. However, Flipside have very, very little. Just the 2 P250s. That's the only investment they've made. Even Bondic, who has actually been able to accrue some funds, is going to keep it pretty light and easy on this one. Definitely won't be easy to take Fnatic with this current loadout. Shower early peek here. Towards Monster's going to be caught pretty quickly there by Flusher.
Should have taken the silencer off. That's probably what hindered him there, if I'm honest, Mitch.
Yeah. If he wants to make noise and attract attention, would have been a better way to do it. Olaf Meister going to get caught there. Markloff had himself set up on that little close angle, trying the sight, and JW is again caught off guard. This is not the first time it's happened already this game, and use of those toilets is working out for F3 on these pistols. Dennis will have to go in and clean this one up, and he does. Still those 3 rifles being maintained as well. Mind you, Fnatic went in with 2 pistols, 3 AKs, so no real loss for them here.
No. I'm surprised Flipside have done this much damage though. Olofmeister going down was kind of not to be expected, but you know it's a welcomed, I guess, occurrence. The fact he had the Tech 9, it wasn't too surprising. Sure. But JW going down, I'm not sure. Not sure. Again, Flipside doing a little bit of damage is good. They're going to close out, and at the end of the day, a win's a win. Fnatic get the 3 rounds, and pretty cleanly done. Only Bondik and Markelov doing any damage throughout those rounds, specifically those two. So these buys are going to be okay. No mollies, nothing like that. Nothing they can really, excuse me, sink their teeth into. But this is where WorldEdit needs to find his real footing here. Again, a player who started to play very well for himself, but now he's got JW to face off against. Now he's got, you can list anyone in that team pretty much and say it's going to be an uphill struggle. So it looks like Fnatic actually going to be relatively calm on this one and just try and play, a bit of a default. But again, Markelov goes hunting and he gets the reward. Takes down Dennis, but no one to trade with him. No one there, and now WorldEdit's being pressured by Olaf. And that nade, he just walked into it.
Crims now, this is just going to try and close this one out here. This is just Bondik and Shara left. Bondik does manage to pick up Olofmeister there as well. That was through Torta block. So that side of the map clear, but Fnatic have got 3 players, and they're going to pressure onto this B side. It's just Shara, who was flashed, but he gets a spray down towards Flush, and the bomb in the pit as well, but he's going to be surrounded on either side. And he will fall. It's just Bondik now with a lot to do. It's a smoke in his way. A flash as well, just a contingency towards upper to make sure Fnatic can hold onto this one. No plan as of yet, but JW doesn't need to go there. Bondik walks out and meets his maker.
Flipside actually winning out on some of those individual fights, which was impressive. But again, I don't know. If they're not trading out on these kills, it's going to equate to Fnatic always be able to kind of like overtake the site or overtake the place they're pushing. So on short, then there was no trade out for Markelov. It was just like, okay, well, Fnatic lose 1, that's not the end of the world. We can just keep pushing through. So now, of course, the pistol for Flipside. P250's a couple of smokes. Means that Flusher and Olaf will be the ones at the forefront here, trying to collect any debt that they feel that Flipside do owe them. And there you go. There's the 2 kicking in already. Dennis with the support, coming through with the rifle, just kind of playing towards the site. And the money management from Fnatic is always so beautifully done. Again, Flush is the one going hunting for Bondik. He's been playing around toilets for the vast majority of this game. Pop flash in, takes the peek, spots him out, and there you have it. So 3 kills for Flusher, 1 for Olaf, and then, of course, 1 for Dennis as he had to, push in towards the site with the bomb. But it builds up bank perfectly for them. You already look at Crims, you look at Flusher, they're sitting on great deals of money already.
Yeah, and you saw them, those 3 AKs that have been floating around on Fnatic, they managed to keep for the last couple rounds. Olaf went to the Mac 10 last round, now an AWP for him. It looks like he'll keep it. JW, no need for that one at the moment. Flexibility of the Swedes being demonstrated there a little bit more, and JW himself is going to head down in towards underpasses. He'll set up here, see what he can do. Blade will challenge. Just smoke being lobbed there as well, so plenty of warning for JW.
But look, this is better now. WorldEdit supporting Markelov here on this aggression. Well, actually, Markelov supporting WorldEdit, but that's great stuff. That initial smoke from Blade allowed those 2 pushing through water on short to isolate anyone pushing forward. So I want Flipside now to back away from this. They've got the 1-man advantage. They don't need to over-peak and over kind of try and push their luck here. They're doing great as they are, but they're staying out in these positions, and Fnatic might want to try and punish that. If they can single someone out, Fnatic could easily get this one back. And again, WorldEdit, confidence aplenty. Going for these shots, will eventually back away now. So Flipside again, good initial work, adjusted well off the back of what actually went wrong in the first gun round. But now let's see if they have the presence of mind to expect Fnatic's play next.
Well, they've shut down B pretty hard, of course. That early smoke and WorldEdit's aggressive peak, a good start. And their Flipside need to be shoring up their defenses on this particular side of the map. WorldEdit at least has gotten himself here as well. He's been traipsing around the map a fair bit already. But Fnatic are taking this time on this one as well, and Flipside are establishing presence on the A site, and Bondik will be at long, so they do have the setup. But it's about what Fnatic can do to disrupt this one as well, what utility they've got. They've got a couple of smokes, 2 Molotovs, and enough flashes to work on. WorldEdit will have an early peek towards Dennis here.
Great stuff from WorldEdit, holding that angle. I think Bondik may have heard a step or maybe a weapon switch or something of the such. But look at this fake out from Fnatic. They've instantly turned themselves over towards B. Shara's going to hear the steps, going to get himself ready for the cross. Spots out JW, gets the initial. He maybe overextends them for the second to try and buy time, but Markelov makes it there. And now with 8 seconds left, Crims tries to take the fight, and it gets halted. Flipside actually playing this quite well. They don't have the rounds to necessarily reflect that. They lost out on the pistol. Fnatic punished that. Cool, but they did a little bit of damage here and there. The first gun round, you could see the theory, but then the execution was a little lacking. This time around, they double up on these trades. Basically, they put Markelov and WorldEdit together. They play off the back of the smoke that goes down towards Connected. Really nicely well played out. But again, how long can that last with Fnatic?
Yeah, we saw Flipside play that one out at their own pace, and they actually gave themselves the capacity to do that, especially with their presence at B. 1 round for Flipside. And now Overpass will be pressing towards Blade as well. He does get the jump on him there, Blade. Well, it could have been pinched either way, but Olaf now gets in towards Underpass, and JW is also there on the other side of the smoke.
And this is smart. They've taken down Blades, and now they could maybe try and fight out towards the 2 who are trying to pressure this sort of area. However, an adjustment again between Markloff and WorldEdit. Look at them trying to isolate them. Both of them trying to find this player. They've literally undone what started to work very well previously. But will they expect the boost? This is a great adaptation. If he takes this shot, that's sick. He takes down Olofmeister there, WorldEdit can back away now. Dennis clearing out. Bit cautious still. If maybe he's pushed up short. Where are they? But again, it's going to come down to Shara playing well in this one. Him and Nico had a great battle before when they were playing against Mouse on this one, but actually Shara's found Flusher. So again, very nicely done. Fnatic are actually having to work pretty hard on this one so far. But Bondik's going to get a great deal of information. He finds out where Dennis is. You could assume the rest would be close by, but doesn't want to outstay his welcome here and leaves the likes of JW and Crims to now go hunting.
He didn't spot them either, I don't think. It was just Dennis that he saw trying to cross in towards toilets. So yes, information, but speculation will have to take place for the rest of the positions of these Fnatic players. However, JW is pressing in towards this site, and WorldEdit will be waiting him now. He missed the shot, steps aside, Molotov out in front. That's going to slow JW up on his process forward, but he just wants to get the peek on towards WorldEdit. He doesn't connect. Well, he does, but enough damage there to send WorldEdit packing at this stage, and he's just staying safe. Look at him play for time here. Player off towards the side though as well. He had to be ready for that. Crims is trying to collapse in, but Markloff picks up JW, and Flipside hold that site very, very well. Slow and steady, give up round when you have to, and just play the peak. Flipside with their second.
Smart stuff from Fnatic then, to try and isolate what was happening out. But I don't know if that was just Flipside reading, okay, well, this is what they're going to try and do to undo what almost made it work for us before. So again, it could be just smart play, and it was just off the back of like a couple of smokes and presence from Blade. He's yet to get a kill, but he did well. So this is another switch up from Flipside, it seems. Going for something a little adjusted, maybe more confidence. WorldEdit over by the other side here, but Fnatic going for a quick play towards B. This could be a problem, but Shara handles it well. Puts down Olofmeister. He's staying alive, a little bit panicked here, and now the short push comes out. Great flash, actually. It was a team flash, I think, then, allowing Markloff the chance to punish Flusher, but Blade's here, and he needs to be integral to this.
Yeah, but he's got smokes cutting him off from the rest of his team here as well, but he backed up there. That's actually Bondik that went down to JW.
I don't think they know he's here. Oh, they spotted him now.
Yeah, just then. Blade had to do it on his own. I'm not surprised he backed away with the smoke cutting off, but now the Molotov in his hand, he might throw the down in towards the canal. We have a 2v2, and this is definitely doable for Flipside to hold on. Fnatic, though, Dennis has got himself an A1. Blade might just peek. This timing is of the essence, and well, neither of these two are going to spot each other out. Both considerably low. The first shot would have been very, very important. But WorldEdit goes for the peek on Crimson, gets taken out now, and it's just Blade left on his own, and he's nowhere near this side as well. But interestingly enough, it's Fnatic are pulling out of B, not going any further, and actually going to be pressuring A. So let's see where Blade actually situates himself, and it's going to be a bit of a do-si-do.
All right, Blade. He's got 20 HP basically, and at the moment their money's not phenomenal for Flipside. So he might have been considering just to try and save that rifle at this point, but then the round kept going. He's like, why aren't they at B? And I don't think he's going to hear the steps at long. If they come through like a highway or toilets, you can hear it. He's going to hear the smoke, but I don't think he particularly wants this challenge. Dennis is 40 HP, but Crims is on 60. This is not a nice round for Blade to try and play retake on. But I wonder if Fnatic even have the inkling that he's on this site, because there's only one player close by, that being Dennis. He's over by Bank. You've got Crim splitting to toilets, and there you go. Dennis takes the walk, gets the shot. So Fnatic, even though they were in a 2v2 at that point, taking the time to go on the rotate, play it all out, try and bring it down to a 1-to-1, one on one side, or should I say a 2v1 at some point. So yeah, well played to Fnatic, just keeping that sort of mindset throughout this game. So 6-2. These rounds aren't bad for Flipside, but again, just kind of being a little outdone then on the play towards that B side. Once they go for those all-in plays and just take the individual fights, it seems that Fnatic just come into their own.
He definitely put in the mileage last round, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. If only it was a matter of walking a long way to get rounds here. Now he does just pick that little opening there as well. I don't think he actually saw the player. That was Crims who jumped across into towards Monster, but plenty of Molotovs. Oh, JW got behind Blade there, pushed into the smoke and didn't have time to react there as Blade is able to get the old 180. And Crims now just pulling off that site now as well, especially after JW falling. Fnatic forming a bit of a semicircle here and deciding where they want to pressure next. It'll be poking and prodding for a little bit. Information and I mean, they'd be happy with kills, definitely. But at this stage, they are going to take it slow. Note that Shara is exceedingly low. Flipside still traipsing around that B side a little bit here as well. WorldEdit will be watching long, and Bondik's up in toilets. So, again, WorldEdit has a chance to make that peak, but Have to be quick on it. Crim's in toilets here as well. There's a little head that's seen. World Edit plenty of time to react to that one, but able to make the shot and just gets away. A third of his health chipped off. He has to get behind the smoke.
Where are Fnatic going to run now? They've got a long rotate no matter what, because Bondic's seen that they're not coming toilet, so they're either still on long in his mind, or they're on the rotate. Now he's seen them though. Crims takes him down. We're going to have 3 players lining up towards this A site, and Blade and Char are en route, but they could always hop, skip, and jump down towards B. Maybe that's why Flusher is starting to lurk here, see what the situation's looking like on this B site. Is it a possibility? And look at all the utility thrown towards B, but no commitment, and a slow rotate from Fnatic coming over, but it's down to Markov to play this out perfectly. He's going to hear the steps from Flusher, but he only has that UMP, and Flusher's probably going to peek this, but he won't expect the angle, and now Markov has seen everything. He's heard enough. He knows what's coming his way. Stunning adaptation towards the second shot, and now, what, 2v4? This should be Flipside's.
Crim somehow got the bomb planter though as well, and he's using the last vestiges of Flusher's smoke to just sit there and watch only one angle, but now he has to sit back, and it's Flipside to come forward. They have to get aggressive on this one. Markov is very, very low, and Olafmeister trying to even the odds here, but only gets one. There's Crims though. Now we have the 1v2. World Edit with the AWP. He's actually up on the side here as well. We'll try and peek into the situation, but Markov, great round from that man. Gets his third, gets himself an AK as well, and he kept his head down for just long enough to get that jump on Flusher. And the rest was all about Flipside.
Well, Markov was the hero that round, at least in my eyes. Being able to, one, get this shot. Flusher wasn't actually checking that close to it, that's fair, but then be able to still get 2 more after this? This adjustment, what a nut shot again. UMP King, Markov just going to town. And that's actually going to put Fnatic in a bit of a situation. They're going to see 3 rifles, 2 one Tech 9, excuse me, and a CZ. With a bit of utility, the mollies there, but what worked for Fnatic was that all-in kind of like big hit, but they're looking to try and overwhelm here, pressure them down, try and be a little bit faster on these takes, not allow Flipside to get those initial man advantages. It worked before when they did that all-in beast take.
World Edit misses that first peak now, and that's a little bit more flexibility available to Fnatic. They can move through Underpass now as they've gained access. Flusher with just a Tech 9 and a Molotov to be working with now. He's most forward player for Fnatic over on B. Crims is just trying to see if he can maybe get something for free through that smoke, but World Edit, cannily enough, is just going to be watching the very edges of it as it does fade. And Bondic's up in toilets as well, so they can double peek into this if they need to. World Edit very, very cagey about this one. In fact, even Blade has moved up on his left side as well. It is a boost from Fnatic.
This is gutsy from Flipside after losing control of toilets, going back in on this. And now World Edit's holding the angle. He's going to miss it and could be punished for this. JW's lining it up and trying to deny his cross back out, but he will make it relatively safely away. But ballsy play from Flipside. And bear in mind, World Edit and Bondrick in a bad spot. They can't back away now. They kind of tucked it. But that's great work from Blade, finding Olafmeister. But there's a bit of punishment. But would they expect Bondic to still be here? That's the next question. And Dennis then finds him.
Blade 2 important kills now. Let's see if he can make it another one. Dennis is too low for that kind of shenanigans. He peeks with the nade in his hand, and he's still going to let it go. But it was Flusher that fell behind him, and now he's in a 1v3. And that Molotov isn't really going to do too much than just warm the area. As the rest of Flipside are assembling. Shara staying on B just in case Dennis tries to get cheeky. That's a nice little peek towards Blade. That's the first one. Baby steps for Dennis as he approaches this side. Shara now will be rotating through. We can see that Dennis is committed, and Markov is just going to be able to peek out the side and pick him up there as well. Bondic, great work from him as well. He anticipated the boost towards toilets and actually stopped Fnatic in their tracks, and that was what allowed Flipside to establish stronger A presence really and to shut them down.
This shot was pretty sick though. Like, bless you, Mitch.
Thank you.
It's going to force Fnatic onto an eco. That round did have 2 Tech 9s in it, so obviously the money not going to be sitting too wealthily with the Fnatic side. But again, this T side isn't bad at all. It's more about can Flipside keep this sort of presence of mind when they go towards their T side, as they're known to be a little bit one-dimensional sometimes, very focused towards one site more than having this variety. However, it worked perfectly in their previous game, but that's against SK. This is Fnatic, so a little bit of a different beast to be dealing with. And again, if Fnatic can make this costly, which they generally do, not bad for them. They can walk away with a little bit of a silver lining from this round.
Bondic and World Edit initially pushed forward up on A, just in case Fnatic were going to press through. I think Olaf even just loved a cheeky little decoy near the smoke and plaza, but no. Dennis, though, opens things up well. He was in Monster there, so picked off Shara, who I believe was just, peeking a little bit far down towards Canal. So now Markov has to step up and take his spot, and he's going to go for a peek himself here. So just trying to stamp dominance on this round. Don't let Fnatic get too close. See if Markov can keep them at arm's length. There will be a smoke about to expire here at Sandbags, and you see JW always forging ahead to try and find something here as well. Smoke clears, he spots Blade and backs up, giving plenty of respect to this well-armed Flipside side.
Again, Flipside being super passive. You can see them just like sitting back like, I don't want any of this. And you can't blame them. You just want to just run the clock down 30 seconds. Just so you're sitting there thinking, just 30 more seconds, guys, and it's over. The fear of the pistol will be done. And now Markelov's having to pick up the place of Shara as well, because no one's going to be watching Monster. You're seeing now Fnatic letting those Glocks fly, and the Deagles start to hit, and Dennis finds Blade. Dennis is a bit of a monster on these pistols. We know that by now. And now down to 3v3. This is getting more and more deadly. Guns are being recovered. Bondik deals with Dennis. A couple of seconds remain. They're going to see the bomb plant coming in. Nice angle from Bondik on the drop with Markelov, and the cleanup comes out. Now, Markelov being, again, very, very imperative to the Flipside side on that B side, because, you know, yeah, it was against an eco, but it's Fnatic and you have Dennis in your team now, which means that suddenly you really do pack a punch in these rounds, like you didn't before with Flusher. You know what I mean? Like, it suddenly becomes a little more deadly at times in these. So again, Markelov is leading the way here by a large margin, so it's kind of cutting off that B hit. And
credit to him as well, he re-peaked where Shara actually had been taken out. He had the presence of mind and confidence to actually try and go for that. He didn't find Dennis in Monster at the time, but you can see he's not afraid to try and follow up and actually at least get a trade. Our Flush are going to line up something nerdy for us, that's what we'd like. That smoke was a bit wayward there. There's one inside, of course, the tunnels, so Fnatic not pressing into there now. Olofmeister still with the AWP. JW hasn't touched it yet this half.
They're going back to that all-in hit, I think. That's the smoke towards that just bounces over to cut off the view from CT if you cross it to B. This worked last time. However, Markelov has been very, very present. Shara's now backed him up as well. Markelov's going to get one and trade out. The double nade well placed, but they've cut this off perfectly. Playing up from short, Blade and Shara finding the right place, but Olof doesn't like it at all. He takes out Shara. JW removes Blade, and we're down to a 2v3. Fnatic making sure they take the correct fights and finding the pace that works for them. And again, the site is theirs. But can Bondik and World Edit find any retake here?
Or will they attempt to? That's the question. World Edit sitting well back. Bondik, though, as usual, always go forward, but that chain link fence, tougher than you might think. And now it's just World Edit up in that crow's nest here, and you won't be seeing too much over the site there. JW just lurking behind the pillar. World Edit maybe can paint the walls if he wants to. He's got some time to spare. But no. He's going to make his way to him. Rather paint it with Fnatic blood, but I don't think anyone's going to be acquiescing right now. Coming forward, he may have JW here as well. Ooh, missing that shot.
Hit the shot, World Edit.
Oh, this could be dangerous from now. The flash comes in. JW wants blood, but he's not going to get it. World Edit shuts him down and just hangs on there as well. The man had a fair bit of utility, and of course the AWP. He'll be happy to keep them in his pocket.
And I almost want to see more variety from World Edit in attention towards B, possibly. He's been playing kind of short with Shara every now and then. They like to push out there, or Markelov, you know, whoever has the spawn, I assume. And this time he's got a great spawn to go anywhere but B. So ignore that for now, but I kind of would have liked him to be more supportive towards Monster. They're the sort of rounds Fnatic seem to be going to when they've been losing out on more of a default. So, and that's worked pretty well. That's worked like 3 times now out of these rounds, excluding the pistol that came through for them, of course. That's quite a lot of rounds coming off the back of it. And World Edit needed to hit that. He's the only one with a gun here, really. There's P250s. They didn't completely force around it because their money isn't phenomenal. They're, you know, mid 3K, and that's about it at most.
And where he was stood as well, no one from Flipside was in a position to recover that AWP and try and make something out of it. So that was risky, and to miss that shot, well, obviously compounds that risk even more. But Bondik here with a bit of a bird's eye view as well. Edit will eventually go to rejoin him over at B, but Fnatic have control of that site, but the push in towards Shara, it's got to be Markelov that picks up Dennis as well. So had a little bit of a cheeky crossfire there, and Flusher now just wants to throw the Molotov in. This may force Bondik out, but Shara actually had a chance to support Bondik a little bit further there. The Molotov doesn't force him out of the corner now. Fnatic want to press A. It's going to be World Edit. It's going to have to get ready. He's going up to bank as well, but it may be an early smoke. Yes. So he's just going to content himself with the other side. JW knows what it's about. He's already looking for those legs coming down the stairs. And World Edit getting pressed by Olofmeister. Olofmeister doesn't really have time for these shenanigans. And he quickly puts World Edit to bed, and along with the AWP.
Could have done with maybe saving that. And just gets hunted down. Like, as soon as you're in that position, you're going to get kind of cornered. So, bit of a shame. Again, not exactly the biggest game for World Edit yet. He has been a bit of a factor back and forth. You know, when he does turn up, we see a very strong flip side. When he doesn't, not so great.
Markelov has been so sick, though. 18 kills already.
Yeah, he's been absolutely nuts. But this seems like more the default Fnatic play at the moment. Again, it works out quite well normally for Flipside. Blade can be good, picking up a couple of A trade kill normally. Just about sneaks past JW, gets hit a couple of times on the cross. Now Dennis might be a little bit more cautious, but Blade gonna head over towards B very early. So leaving complete control of that connector area or underpass towards Fnatic. So a little bit interesting, but boosting up a player. I think that's gonna be Markelov up top. You can see the little boost through the wall then. yeah, just be peeking towards the side. So I guess keeping some more passive control over that. But Dennis, if he wins out this towards Shara, it means that suddenly everything's a little bit deadly, but Blade, the deadly part of the turret down below, does enough.
Shara caught pulling up his fly there, but it's at least a trade-in for Flipside at this stage. Flusher, the only player sort of left over at B. Don't really know if I'll go for too much here. He's always got the flexibility, of course, just to duck in towards Underpass and join the rest of the team. But for the most part, if you look at the mini-map, you can see that Flipside have kept Fnatic at arm's length for the most part. Really quite far back, a lot of smokes in the way. Now, no more rounds of stalling from Flipside, though, in terms of what they have available utility-wise. Those smokes are done. And now they're going to have to give some ground themselves. This will allow Fnatic to advance. And again, we're going to have a bit of a repeat of maybe the attempted A-hold for Flipside that we saw a few rounds ago, which worked well for them.
And now, Flush is completely cleared B. Will Fnatic actually go for it now? They're just going to go straight back in on this side. Why not, I guess? Well, that it could be a factor, but again, he's kind of... JW? What are you doing, JW? JW, what are you doing? He was like, he's a little bit of a spy, you know, for Flipside. He just snuck across.
I thought he saw World Edit before. We flicked away from him, so I couldn't tell. Flusher, one-man army so far. Unfortunately, JW kind of helped World Edit there a little bit. But now it's going to be another AWP save, I dare say, as Crimson Olafmeister not really of the inclination to try and actually take him out here in this A plant.
He's in a bit of a safer spot this time, at least, not just sat by bank. Like, it'll be fine if I just, you know, don't
World
worry about
Edit
it.
was here. Wish we had the spray still. That'd be great. Well, yes, I do and I don't.
Maybe just, you know, Valve-approved sprays.
Valve-approved sprays.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool for, like, the team logos and such to be on them, or, like, player signatures and that. You know, that'd be kind of sweet.
But we digress. 9 rounds for Fnatic here as well. It was 6-4 actually at one point, so we have started to see the Swedes just pull away a little bit with the last 3 in a row. I have to say that last round was very, very nice work from Flusher, I think. Left himself over at was it Crims or Flusher on the B side? Maybe Crims. Either way, one Fnatic player managed to get through 2 and clear that side out, where Fnatic were already actually trying to go towards A. So it's kind of nice to have an open B. He's welded it again.
He's got a lot of targets this time. Hits the first, Olafmeister goes down, Bondic tries to back him up, gets pretty much steamrolled at this point. Misses there from World Edit. That one's going to hit though.
Oh!
Bit of a monstrous shot from World Edit. He's going to spot out another, doesn't he? Don't know what that shot was. Misses the follow-up. These shots are so random. He hits crazy ones, misses the sitters. And now he needs to back away here as Dennis and Crims are last standing, and they're looking for kills, and Blade just feeds them one. And suddenly, it was, what, a 2v4? Now it's a 2v2 with a shotgun and a CZ left.
Shara's got the Nova in hand. And they're going to be pressing in towards Underpass in due time. Markov has to sit here on A, and this is how Flipside are going to try and split these 2 sites. It's pretty much the only way they can do it at this stage. Dennis is not interested in any AWP action at this stage, but we'll take note of its location for later in the round. Markov will just have to waste or spend some time here as well. Has a flash at least to give him a little bit of an edge if it does come to shove, but Dennis as well has one up his sleeve.
Yeah, and Flipside probably don't know, Fnatic probably don't know exactly what Flipside have in the way of guns. As you said, they can see the M4, they can see the AWP, but as it's last round, you know, what does Flipside have outside that? Will they expect the Nova? Who knows? Probably not.
No.
But Markov again will have to play this, you know, timing is going to be key here. That molly is going to get things toasty, but it's actually a really good spot for him. He's able to punish one, but he can't escape properly. He's going to be in the fire and flames, and there you go. Crims will punish him for that. And now Shara left in the 1v1. He's recovered the rifle, but that plant is cheeky as you like. Shara's been known to be on these rotates, and I think Crims might be hearing these steps. And Shara just about slows down, and Crims is going to take the shot, but a stunning connection from Shara in the end will keep this one looking closer than maybe you'd expect. 6-9 on the half.
Not a prominent feature in highlight reels, Shara, of recent times, but that was a good retake there for Flipside, and the man knows how to clutch at least when it counts there as well. Off the back of World Edit, starting that round off pretty darn well. Surprising that it even got to that point, but here we are. It is half-time. Fnatic eyeing down that CT side now as well, and again, we will see Flipside probably play this one a little bit slower here. This was World Edit with some freaky shots.
Well, the thing is, like, he misses shots that he should hit, and then, like this one? Thus? It's just weird seeing, because, like, I know there's a lot of players out there who hit the nutty shots and then miss the sitters, but at a top end, it shouldn't happen like that. You know what I mean? Like, you should be hitting the okay, I see a player crossing who's not actually shooting at me. I've got, like, a good couple of seconds on that one. But again, you know, World Edit, he is up and down as a player, but in the end, it starts to shine a little more, and that round was certainly could be attributed towards what he did. So here we go. So on the T side, it's going to be Flipside now. They need to pick up this pistol to get a really competitive game going, I feel. Let's see what Fnatic have in store for them now onto their CT side.
All right, Fnatic 2 over on that B side with Olafmeister up top. Bondik and Shara. Bondik as well, just free damage is good damage. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. You won't find too much at the moment here in JW, just wanting to admire his handiwork. Shot over towards Party as well. He's been forced to call himself to action here as well. He has actually gotten the better of World Edit up until Blade just put a bullet between his eyes. They can duck back for the bomb here now, and a very, very quick rotation for Fnatic to A actually as well. They committed to that one super fast. Just left Crims at B at this stage. Dennis sort of up top as well lurking, so very quick moves from Fnatic to respond to JW falling.
And they're going to look for these kills, which is a little scary. You can get caught on this run back towards the site, and Flusher still hits one on the way out. That's Markloff down. Flusher finds World Edit. Just Flusher things.
I like it. All right, we talked up Dennis on his pistol work earlier on, and Flusher replicating Bondik's work essentially from the first round of the actual game. So good to see from him, and that kind of play is really going to take the wind out of your sails if you're trying to get up close and personal. Even worse if you're a team that is a slow mover anyway.
That's a nice little lineup for a smoke.
Here comes the push towards the side. It's a flash towards the side of Flush, but no one really affected by it. Olafmeister, though, with a severe case of being dead. As Blade puts one on his head, and now Flusher now trying to come back out from Bank, doesn't manage to get on towards him. Two players here for Flipside pressing onto this side. Bondik, Fantasy's getting up close and personal. Flusher just getting it done. Crims is going to steal that away. Scumbag Crims, but Fnatic get the round. The pistol over to them. And a very nice leisurely hold there. Getting a little bit dicey towards the end, but see Fnatic take it away.
Yeah, that was actually really nice from Flusher. He's going to get himself the full-on, pretty much well set here. Going to go for the full head armor, of course, because you know those Tech 9s, or maybe something a little bit random comes out from Flipside. They do have the Deagles, actually more Deagles than Tech 9s here. So again, maybe just favouring that. I still think the Tech 9s are just as powerful, but the more I watch these pro players play with the Deagle, it's just like, why doesn't mine do that? I feel as though there's something
Alex had the same
different.
problem. He sees Flusher's CZ, he switched to it for a while, and he's back on the 5-7 because he just can't replicate it.
It just doesn't work. But Fnatic are very aggressive here. Look at Underpass. There's two players stacked up in this. It's insane. Bondik's going to have a walk around towards JW. Timing is everything now, and Bondik gets it. That's two for Bondik. Clearing this perfectly. And again, making it costly. That's what it's all about here. Shara's taking an unfavorable fight down by Monster, and Dennis is hungry for this. He's actually getting pretty darn close, and Markloff can punish that. And this 3v3 actually does favour the T side, I guess, in theory sometimes, because you can overwhelm sites, but the weapons are so weak. Only two players of armor, one being Shara, who's down to 14 HP, and he's just trying to be bait for Dennis, and you walk in like that. Dennis is going to deal with you so comfortably. 3 back-to-back kills, and the hopes shut down for Flipside.
Hardly a sweat broken for the newest addition to Fnatic there. Dennis just a bit of a peek left, bit of a peek right. And here we are, Fnatic 11 rounds, and Flipside. The thing is, we saw Markloff with some strong performances in that first half now as well. The problem is that Flipside always have a beacon. They have one beacon of light. Sadly enough, it takes more than a lighthouse to take down Fnatic. You need a couple more of those players to be up there, and that's Olafmeister with the smoke. We've been checking that one out a little bit recently.
I was practicing that every time we're waiting for the show to go live, and it's actually really difficult. And JW just going to be trying to be a turret. He knows there's not much going on, but he actually sacrifices himself to, the slaughter pretty much, the lamb walking up to it himself. But again, it gets all the information given, and maybe just trying to make up for, Crim stealing that ace, set up Flusher again for it. But no, not going to happen. As Shara and Wada, the last two standing. Not too much lost here, really. And Flusher just dancing Wada, and he comes out the better of that one with Dennis closing down. So again, Flipside picking up the rounds that really, if you wanted Flipside to have a competitive shot early into this game, could have done with starting then. However, maybe they can thrive in these gun rounds. But again, it's not going to be hyper comfortable for them. It's going to be a bit of a rocky ride, and I don't know how they're going to face off against this.
No, they don't really have the tools to deal with Fnatic. I think not in the long game anyway. See what Woded can do without his trusty AWP here. Jara's going to be the only man splitting off towards B initially, but look at this aggressive push from Fnatic as well. Bit of that CT aggression we'd like to see. JW's gotten so deep already, and even World knows that Olaf is just around the corner, and there is the Royal Paladin getting the job done. 2 kills for Olaf, goes a little bit low, and JW falling very, very cheaply there to Bondik. So just maybe humbles him for a moment.
2-for-1 trade though, that's not bad. And so much information gathered as well, and now Flipside are back to kind of basics. So we almost made it out of spawn, guys. We were so close to, you know, maybe making it to the fountain, who knows. But yeah, I think it was like a deep flash that came out as well to allow JW to get that close. But yeah, really nice stuff from Olaf in the end, pushing up by that signpost on the right side and just holding it down like an absolute champ. But Flipside here, options highly limited with these 3 players, but they still have a bit of utility, so they could try and work something out. But again, their money's not going to be phenomenal. You know, they're not going to get the full buys coming through. They're going to be slightly hindered in this one if they don't even get it slightly costly towards Fnatic.
Yeah, that's definitely the order of the day right now for Flipside, is to, if not win the round, inflict some fiscal harm. Olafmeister as well, just up and down. Trying to check towards long. It was Bondik is actually looking behind him here. This is how I guess afraid Fnatic, Flipside are Fnatic now to get behind him. But that's a great pick from Markov. Flusher just falls in a screaming heap, and now it's going to be a Molotov over towards Bank. Olafmeister behind the main container. That's a beautiful flash. Well timed. Catches Markov halfway through, but now the 2v2. And Shara, unfettered access towards his side. Dennis and Crims had to quickly hot-foot it. Probably just Dennis at this stage, to be fair. Now Crims comes.
Yeah, and actually very good trades for Flipside then. Sure, Olaf actually played it very well, but got caught out in the end. So yeah, bringing it back down to a 2v2 is... It's a pretty handsome deal for Flipside as they do the bomb down, and not exactly ideal weaponry for Fnatic. We've seen Dennis can certainly thrive with just that Famous, but he's going to start peering in, and this plant is well set up. Bondik far around the back, checking for a rotate. And it's going to allow Dennis to try and find the 1v1 here, but takes a bit of a wide swing out and doesn't get it. But there you go, Crims and Dennis join up to find Shara, and good stuff from Bondik, but he's got to play this cool, calm and collected. Peeks it out, he knows it's not on it.
It'll be fun.
And now time is on his side. And Dennis has gone flying.
So not only do Flipside actually make it costly for Fnatic, they win the round as well. So that's definitely what they were looking for here. It was probably one of the more important rounds of this game, just to stop Fnatic's momentum heading forward here, as they did have 3 in a row off the back of that half, but that gun round did serve them well. Now, money-wise for Flipside, having sustained casualties of their own, no AWP just yet for World Edit. And Flush now going for the scout. Notice here as well, quite auspiciously, is
Crims
that...
has the AWP?
Yeah, is that Crims is AWPing, and JW just hasn't touched it at all. Normally it would be Olafmeister on this map.
I don't know. I didn't see Crims' spawn at the start, so maybe he had like the best spawn for B, just to peek down towards Monster. That wouldn't be too surprising. But it is a weird choice out of everyone. You've got Olaf to pick from, you've got JW to pick from, Crims. Take it. Okay, cool. Maybe just, you know, keeping people on their toes. They don't expect it. Maybe JW just wants some more practice for the M4. I can't find that much logic to this, but when he gets an ace, I'll know what's up. JW going to get overrun here, and Flipside going to try and press the issue by pushing over towards the side. Flusher gives his hand away as well, showing that he's got a scout there. Not exactly ideal on long. He can certainly do damage, but can't exactly hold back the flood right now. And again, bear in mind, Flipside have not committed with that bomb, but Markov has been really working well now.
Strange push there from Olafmeister, just trying to vary up the pace in a pinch. He's actually going to be sent backwards there. And you're right, Markov holding quite nicely now, and Flusher is forced to just try and keep peeking over towards long as well. But cleverly enough, it's Bondik hugging the wall, so Flusher hasn't been able to spot him in the last 2 jumps up. Bondik's going to get up nice and close and personal, and he gets the kill. Well played by that man, and now approaching the site further. Dennis in the back corner doesn't stand a chance. Bondik sprays him on down, and Crims has to abscond with the AWP. So Fnatic can have it next round.
Let's be really honest here. CT side was bolstered by Markov playing very well towards B. T side entries towards A. He has been actually massive in doing that sort of play. And I even love the way Crims' AWP has JW on it as well. It's so cute.
Because he knows the only person who's going to be using it normally is JW, but...
Is that you got to like title up?
Yeah, that's right. But this map obviously has been an exception. JW actually hasn't wanted to AWP from as far as we can tell. It's been Olaf normally.
See, I'd hope one of these teams like trolls their teammate and just like put like Kenny on there or something, you know what I mean?
Oh, it was from Mouse Sports, I think, has something like that. Like a sticker. I think it's like Nex. No, I think Nico has Nexus sticker on one of his guns or something like that. I'm like, all right, Nico, fair enough, man. At least you don't totally believe your own hype. But
I know, I think it's MBK on his AK had Scream sticker on there. He still does. That's kind of like fair. It's like if you want to like pray for those one taps to the one tap god, you got to like look at that sticker and hope. Maybe like hope to join that team at some point, who knows, at the current state of Envy, but 12-8 right now. Fnatic's still in the lead, but a good sign into the gun rounds. 2 rounds back-to-back for Flipside. The money's going to be almost shattered. Bear in mind they obviously kept that up there, and Crims is still sticking with it. What is this? This is like a new thing. Like
do
everyone,
it, bro.
The thing is that I normally love like really varied styles of AWPing on the CT side. I think Device can be awesome at it. You see it from like certain players having like a lot of like versatility to where they hold these angles from. And maybe rather than doing that, they just give it to the player who's going there like, hey, Crims, take it this time.
What better way to vary your AWP style by give it to another player? I mean, a lot of these guys think differently to one another. So instead of having to rack your brains for a different angle to come from, just say, hey, Crims, try something, see what you can make of this.
And it is a Fnatic attitude that they have discussed and said before that sometimes when we're not sure, this isn't a game where you'll see it probably, but it may be just ingrained. But again, it's one of those mental things that they'll do is you can discuss with them, and they'll say that sometimes when we hit a brick wall, in regards to what tactical play do we do next, when you've like almost overthought things, you get to that really stale stage, they just go back to saying, okay, just guys, just play puggy, just play your sites as you feel you want to, especially on T side, just play how it feels right. And they did that in Barcelona, and they closed out one of those ridiculous comeback games. So it can work because you become unpredictable. Good information finding then from the CT side. They do have armor with these pistols, which are upgraded, which is pretty nice. And there is a little bit of a stack out on the A side, though. So Fnatic all coming over towards A. A couple players like lower on the lower stairs, so they could maybe rotate quickly. But right now, Flipside are taking their time here. They're working methodically. They're being slow. They're putting the smokes down. They're playing this properly, but it's very dangerous. The CZ gets close, you get trouble, and Crim's going to be up on the side there finding Blade. 10 seconds left, and suddenly we're in a bit of a dangerous zone. They need to get their bomb down. Shara's going to go for it, but if someone makes a YOLO play to stop it, there could have been some real threats. But down to 3 players now for Fnatic. They're starting to dwindle in numbers, but Flusher finds Shara.
This is not the first time that Flipside's slow plays put them in a bit of a tough spot. But Crim's not seeing any more targets here. His Flipside now backing off that site, having suffered more casualties than they would have liked. They're not fussed about taking that AWP away from Crim's. Flusher probably wants to pick it up and run away here. Time not of the essence. No kit for that man either. Yep, he'll do just that. Flipside getting a little bit close for comfort, but Well did it with 3 as well. So you can see him thriving now with that AWP back in his hands. Bondic wants to chase, but Flusher knows better. A bit of pre-fire there as well. Actually going to force Flusher off the edge. Geronimo, he screens, but there's someone on the B side to catch him as well. Flusher now just going to be joining the rest of the rubbish down at the bottom of that pit, unfortunately.
Ouch.
Oh, I didn't mean like that.
Ouch! Just because I call you a trash can.
He's fertilizer, and that's rubbish. Maybe you could make something of that. I don't know.
I can't believe you'd say that about someone in Fnatic, Mitch. That's disgusting.
I'm going to get crucified as well.
I bet you didn't say that when you were casting League of Legends, did you? So rude.
What's League of Legends?
Woo! Look at this guy. All right, but again, this is kind of like reset everything. Last time they were kind of trying to please help Mitch. He's annoyed the rioters now. But no, the fact is that they're trying to cling to that AWP and supplement around it for a little while, and it was doing a bit of damage. Again, working that time down real low, making it pretty scary there. But again, now they're just on the pistols. This could be 10 to 12, or at least it should be. But then it's still Fnatic. You've got to give that little bit of a step back and go, there's still a chance. So Shara, going to be the first one in. Dennis, anytime you see Dennis with a pistol, you should be scared. This time he's going to back away.
Word selection, phrasing, all important things as a caster. Please don't crucify me, Fnatic fans. I didn't mean it. The bomb's been left back here for Flipside.
Don't say it about Nip, otherwise the hordes will amass.
How dare you say that about Get Right?
We laugh about that, but I mean, I've
hey,
seen
look,
it before.
I didn't predict that Nip were going to beat Fnatic on Cash, and I was the worst caster in the world.
I was at 16-6 that game as well. Oh,
I'm a
well,
bad
it
person.
happens. It happens. Definitely didn't mean to imply that old mate was rubbish, though. That's not what the plan was.
Look how scared you are.
No,
They're
it's
going
just
to come and like lynch you later.
Who is this idiot coming out of nowhere calling people rubbish? What's
There's
going
going to be
on?
like a little like kangaroo, like in a Fnatic show, just burnt outside.
I mean, I'll be catching the next kangaroo out of you if that happens. But as Blade finds Olaf Meister, it's just a pistol here for Fnatic and Flusher. Definitely no resemblance to the stuff on the floor there for him. He stands out, actually. Now Cribs is going to press forward. And he will drop down as well. So 1 casualty there for Flipside on that round. And Fnatic don't get too much. So 2 rounds in it again, bringing it closer. Last time the game was this close was, well, the start of it, but after that, 6-4 was in favour of Fnatic. And that was Flipside getting close. But then Fnatic drew away, and a chance for them to do it here again. And I dare say that they'll go double AWP here. All right, then. JW finally deciding he'd like the zoom stick.
The classics have come back to us. Olaf and JW going to be picking these up. Olaf going to be heading over towards B. JW doing, pretty much the standard. Olaf going to be boosted up. And it's scary to think, right? This is such an advantageous position, But yet, how many times have I seen people just like one-tap this these days? It absolutely terrifies me. But again, he's going to have the first shot down towards the short push through. So he's perfectly safe here for now. Flipside, very slow. Again, these guys run the clock down to 10 seconds in previous rounds, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we see that sort of play, just because they're being very cautious, taking map control. They know that Fnatic's got a good buy into this one, so you got to be careful. You got to be taking your time here.
The thing is that you take a risk by being too cautious as well, with not giving yourself enough of a buffer. And that's a fine art, of course, finding that one. Flusher. I don't know if you heard the footsteps, but there's a pop flash in. He's able to turn it. The smoke was in the way as well, but Blade able just to skirt around the edge.
Well, the thing is that if you run on long on the grass, you actually make less sound, or it's less audible. So he probably heard a couple, but he didn't know exactly, where he was. Was he close by? Blah, blah, blah. It can actually overwhelm. So now they've got the opener. And Flipside were playing as default as you like, kind of one sitting around mid, and then 2 over by the extremity. So 2 by long, 2 over by B. And at the moment, Flipside down to 4. Don't know where they're going to take this now.
Crims, they'll be waiting for a push through. What's a flash, and Shara going to meet him there as well. Gets his head, and they're going to press forward as well. He sees Dennis as well. Beautiful stuff from Shara. Couple quick shots from him. Comes in bursts only from him, but when it happens, it really happens.
Again, though, JW and Olaf on the retake. 2 AWPs, probably not ideal in this sort of retake situation, but they're going to try it out. JW going to be stepping in every time they kind of scope in and out. There's going to be sounds heard by Flipside. So Bonding dancing on the side gets taken down. Now suddenly Monster's a threat. Maybe there's a monster lurking down here, that being JW. And World Edit does find JW. Now into the 1v1, Olaf Meister up against World Edit. Clock is ticking. Olaf, you almost trust him in these situations. He's going to go for it. And World Edit plays it cool, calm, collected. And it was taken down to 1 player. But in the end, it was secured. And the money is quite robust right now with Flipside. Fnatic, again, poor for money. They're not stringing these together. They're being reset every time. This is good stuff. And it's keeping them down low. So this is going to put Flipside in actually a really good spot now. This could be 12-12. This means game back on. And actually, Shara being able to provide those entries towards B was something I didn't expect. I did not account for him being able to find those so late into the game. So now, Fnatic, what can you do on this pistol? Can you cost damage? Can you do a little something here?
Well, first and foremost, he's going to try and get to close quarters with Flipside. But look at Markeloff, looking at the smallest little gap. Maybe catch JW there as well, but JW will probably just sit back in that little corner and wait things out. As Dennis will follow suit. Also keep JW relatively safe coming in from Monster side. Fnatic, you can see the minimap as well. The line of scrimmage they've essentially drawn. They push straight up towards the middle. Very unlike Flipside. They're not going to get much. See, Flipside respecting this immensely, as you should. There's Blade that does take down Flusher. He tried to make a bit of a break forward. Not much happening there as well. Percussive taps coming out there from Markeloff in the underside, and Olafmeister now might try and get Blade here as well. Push towards long, catch someone by surprise. 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shots all missing. Oh, he's going to back up now as well as World Edit ready to make the peak, and Olafmeister had to hug the wall, but World Edit's still going to be able to sniff him out and pick him up.
So, 3 players alive now for Fnatic. Dennis could make some trouble here. He does at least cost Bondic his life, but Shara now with a treacherous cross gets a little bit of an NA spray there, but he does eventually find JW. Even just Crims, and you can see Shara like, I can sense you. You're close. That's you're saying that Crims smells now. Why are you so mean?
So
why are you so against Fnatic, Mitch?
Okay, so this is the problem, right? If you say something smells, you don't specify whether it smells good or bad. All right? You smell, Lauren. All right.
Wow.
That is
I smell
that is saying that you smell. But if you say
I smell fantastic.
If you say I can smell you, that just means you're aware of
Mitch,
someone's
do you
presence
say that to women
via
often?
your olfactory
Do you normally
nerve.
say that?
No, I'm at the bar. I'm at the bar and I turn my back to them and I can see them. They sit out next to me and I turn around and I just slightly turn around. Don't look at them and say,
You smell
I can
like
smell you.
Crims.
No, just say I can smell you. That's all you have to say. Gets a 100% success rate.
Back into the game after I'm throwing Mitch under the bus time and time again. I think the bus is just like reversing over him at this point. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Flipside again playing the slower default. Bondic and Blade like to work up long pretty slowly. Markeloff will hold the rotate. Shara and World Edit do sit over by B. So this is kind of like what we've grown to expect to see. Again, the double ops are out though for Fnatic, so a hefty investment. They're looking just to break the back once they do get this round on the board, but they're pulling the time pretty close here. So now Olaf going to go looking. You might find one pretty quickly. Can't adjust quick enough. There was a player to trade out. Would Dennis dare to go back into it? Of course he does. He goes in, he whisks the spray. And Shara punishes again. 2 kills. Again for Shara in such big rounds. He did this last time when they ran that clock so low. And, you know, I hate to say it, but last time I casted Fnatic against NIP, in the opening rounds early into this, it wasn't incorrect to say they did look rusty. In some of the ways they were playing, they were not hitting the shots they normally do. And again, maybe a bit of an assumption, but you wouldn't assume every day of the week you'd see Flipside pulling this back. But again, it's Fnatic. I'm pretty sure they do this as almost a, you know, a life lesson to people.
Look, we don't necessarily see Fnatic actually offering any more respect to Flipside. They're actually trying to get themselves back in the game by aggressively pushing out. The same thing that they've done all game. Not much of a mix-up there as well, and it's cost them a lot of lives there as well. You can see Crims just proudly standing out there as well. Will be taken down by Blade, and Blade now just trying to splay towards the top side. Flusher at least gets a nade, and JW in a good position to pick off Bondic. Now, this is where the magic happens, JW. He's in a 1v2. He's going to press this site marker off, will fall, and he has the 1v1 now. Blade, I think he actually got lightly tagged there as well through the boxes, and JW not taking any prisoners right now. The Fangs are out. JW looking to sink them right in towards Blade here as well. Who is sharp? And that's the question. Blade keeping himself pretty scarce behind that pillar right now. JW, can he make the shot? He does! Brilliant, JW! He's going to get the round back, and it's just a cheeky little flick of the wrist across that pillar to secure it. And we're just talking about how Fnatic were falling further and further behind because they were being aggressive, and JW just, well, he just shows that he can have it both ways.
Counter-terrorists win.
JW.
That was sick.
What was it?
Sick.
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 Sick. Sick plays. Yeah, actually, massive plays, to be completely honest. However, the problem being, because it was down to one player, the money's still like super shoddy. So Flipside can pretty much, not necessarily coast this round, but they're still okay here. Now, Flipside even just getting one means they're starting to get confident. Olaf going to do the smoke over towards Monster. Same old, allow Crims to get early control. Shara can't get the opening pick. Blah, 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 blah. Rinse and repeat. But again, it's how do they close out these rounds that is more interesting to me. As, you know, Shara, that round provided so much. You can't predict JW can do these things. You don't write that into your strategy. You don't write that into your theory crafting. But sadly, you do need to be aware of it, because when he starts to fire these shots, Fnatic start to come alive. And already finding Bondic is going to remove one threat from the plate that Fnatic were bringing to this matchup. Now, again, Blade's pretty good at this, but look, JW's got backup here. They're playing so close together this time. Last time Flusher was solo here. Now they're much closer by. Flusher's going to take an aggressive swing out, though. And will Blade predict this? He's going to see where that nade came from. Surely going to understand there's someone pretty close by. He takes the shot towards Long. He won't expect Flusher that close. And look at the punishment being just doubled up there on Long. It pays off perfectly for Fnatic. And now Flipside down to 3. Fnatic back in control, but with zero utility really left here.
What? Flusher there going for the peek, and it was an off angle for World Edit. He does connect that one beautifully enough, and Olafmeister again going to press forward. We see that play from him frequently. He will actually come forward off that A side towards Flower Beds and try to take things into his own hands, but again, not going to work out. Dennis needs to connect this one. Markloff is going to work him down, and now it's just Crims left. He's got to get his way towards his A side. On Flipside, look to be breaking back very, very quickly. Now it's his turn to step up and get that important clutch for Fnatic. The fact that they are having to clutch these rounds says a lot about how well Flipside are playing into this one, and Crims is deciding it's not his day to be JW. There are 3 players still standing for Flipside, and he is going to make himself scarce.
Yeah, and Crims can be one of those sick clutch players, but they actually need to keep hold of weapons, and excuse me, that's the next big thing on the plate, so a little bit scary times. But this is the thing, Flipside, this is a good map for Flipside. There's no disputing that, but again, your normal day of the week, you wouldn't see them being pressured by Fnatic, so I'm kind of curious, excuse me, they wouldn't be pressuring Fnatic, so I'm kind of curious what sort of state Fnatic are in here. You know, no one doubts them when they come into the bigger tournaments, but online, when they see these sort of things coming through, you know, how focused are they? That's the next big thing. So now look at this. The pause is going to come out. You win a round on the CG side, and then you directly lose one. The one following that, you're going to be absolutely broke. Down to 1.4k right now. So Fnatic are going to do the Fnatic tactical timeout, right? Do you remember COD 4, the Nexus timeout?
Yep.
It was like, if anyone's old enough to remember that, or actually if you watch the Copenhagen Games coming up pretty soon, Kozji, one of the Western Wolves and Lone Online player, is actually taking part. But there was a team called a Nexus, which actually included Boko, who's managing the CSGO
Hungarian
team.
bunch.
Yeah. They were. And they weren't the first to do it, but it was one of the prolific ones. It seemed that no matter when they called this time, it didn't matter if they were like on match point, whatever it was, they called it out, they'd always come back. And everyone hated it because of, like, somehow it would happen. So again, Fnatic have had this, and I wish someone kept this stat of how many times Fnatic have called a timeout and then won the next X amount of rounds, or, you know, won the game. I'd love someone to, you know, go through and do it. That's a lot of work though, but, you know, been really cool to find out.
And not only does it bolster Fnatic in the psychological sense as well, teams know what this means. They've dealt with this before. They've seen what a Fnatic timeout can do, and it gets in your head as well. Even if just slowly creeping in, it's still going to be playing on your mind somewhat here as well, and it's a tense period of Flipside now, just waiting on Fnatic. It's also a break in momentum as well, which is very, very important for Flipside. So just starting to really stretch their legs in this half as well, and I just have to highlight that, you know, World Edit still being consistent, but Shara has lifted quite nicely. Markelov continuing just to do the dirty work as well in terms of those frags coming through. He's been very, very, very good at taking those aim battles as well. And half the reason, actually, the Olafmeister can't just press aggressively forward. He's struggled a bit this game, and he's just been taking chances. There's been gambits for here, and more often than not, they'll catch your opponents out. But I've seen him now probably about 3 times on the CT side jump away from the A side towards toilets and just try and get in someone's face there, and it's worked 0% of the time.
All right, so the thing is that Fnatic have no money this round, so what do they do with it? Because I'll probably put, you know, it will put Fnatic Flipside to 14 rounds, so they're going to force into this, which you may as well, because you're going to be double eco anyway. So I don't know how you come back from this one. They're going to be playing for overtime, basically. It's kind of a hard one to overcome.
CZs.
So yeah, 4 CZs, 1 P250 towards Crims, and a 3-play stack out-ish towards B, and they're going relatively aggressive on this. So maybe hoping that Flipside would overread into it. See, maybe Flipside would go for a quicker rush or something of that such.
I'd like to see Dennis not peek that actually and wait. And there's a smoke going in there as well, so this may work out. Olafmeister should have spotted that out. And he backs away from Toxic now. Couple moments here. Dennis can play just in the gap through the smoke. This will be the first thing the Flipside probably checked, but Dennis, he's quick on the trigger finger, may have 1 or even 2 if he's lucky, but that's a flash. It's a full flash as well. Blade is going to come up first. He gets taken down to 28 points of health. Things stagger up a little bit. You can see Olaf back there as well. Throws the nade in. Shara gets hit. Blade taken down to 11, but still traded in there. Shara picks up JW. Olaf trying to tap away as well, and Fnatic really just trying to play this one slow and steady as much as they possibly can with this TC side pressing in. Olafmeister takes down World Edit. Bomb loose, and there's Flusher. This may just work out for the Swedes. Crims coming in from the side. Beautiful stuff.
Does this
and they get it done. It's the pause. I'm telling you, Fnatic with 3 men up. Flusher gets himself 3 fags. He's 28 for 19.
I'm done,
Beautiful
Mitch.
stuff from him.
I'm done. You know what? I'm done.
So sick.
But the thing is that Flipside had not done a round like that at all. You know what, they'd normally taken their time. They'd been playing these like really nice, constructed, slow, cautious, you know, clear out toilets rounds, you know, these beautiful rounds. And now they've opened a window. A tiny little gap in the window. The Fnatic are about to just run through and smash, right? This is the problem. You give them a chance, and they're going to goddamn take it. And now JW is going to wait for the shot. Doesn't see anyone there towards connector. And that is a heartbreaking round if I've ever seen one.
And they wouldn't have had much money if they'd lost a lot of people, but they had 3 people up, so that's 3 guns salvaged away from that one. It's just perfect from Fnatic. God, it's beautiful to watch that kind of stuff, especially when it works. They just huddled together over on that B side now, but we need to, of course, focus on this round here, because this is obviously just as important as the last. It could be match point opportunity for Fnatic here, and their economy still hasn't been built up properly.
I'm still recovering from that last round.
Seriously. Oh, I love it. It's good Counter-Strike, Lauren. That's what we're hoping for tonight.
Is it good Counter-Strike, Mitch? Stack B, CZ?
Yeah, well,
I don't know, man.
They made it work. The fact that they made it work, like, it is damn good.
I know. It's just, it's not your classic CS, you know. It's Fnatic CS. It's something that only they can really do in these sort of instances, and it's something of a spectacle to watch. But sometimes it's just like you're left just scratching your head, going, "How can this happen so often?" And you almost hope that Flipside had just almost played that round down to a standard. But again, into this one down to 30 seconds. Yeah. The time is actually running very low here, and Flipside are being so hesitant. You can't really blame them. They've kind of been, you know, beaten around at the point, and already, they're going to take a face full of damage there, and they're going to have to make the play. Shara walks in towards Dennis. Shara's had enough. Lovely spray adjustment towards Olaf, but there's still a 1. Crims waiting in the wings. He gets the spray down towards 1, finds 2, bombs loose, gets the 3rd. Crims is doing the work. 9 seconds left, and it's down to just 1. The Fnatic timeout once again, reigning supreme. The bomb's going to go down. They can fight this if they want to, and they do. Flusher with the CZ to do the work, and any Flipside fan, I'm so sorry. This is just, you know, Fnatic doing everything that Fnatic like hailed for at this point.
I was going to say Fnutty then, or Fnut, that wasn't right. But I mean, this is Shara as well, picking up his bollocks and actually moving in towards this side. There's Crims as well, spray down. Shara only had a little bit of health left, but that little switch to the P250 was just sublime. And all he needed was Flusher then to come in and finish things off here. So match point for Fnatic here as well. It's been a hard-fought one, ladies and gents, but Flipside have to force this one. They have no choice. They get themselves 3 Galils, an AK, and a Desert Eagle, and a very small amount of utility.
Again, back into this. JW just going to add insult to injury. It's like, you know, those like salty tears that they collect from everyone's skins that they were starting to feel hope for. You know, it's just JW just puts in this little like, I don't know, little cup. And he just like pours it on the wound that they've started to, you know, poke into at this point. Because look at it, it's 15-13. Flush is going to get one. He switched up to CZ. It's just as deadly, but it doesn't need it. JW is there, and that perfect synergy just comes through. Fnatic are absolute god tier players, right? They are a god tier team, and sadly for Flipside, they couldn't do anything about it. You know, they got so close, and then just got it ripped away from them.
I could use some of that salt to clear my contact lenses. I can't believe my eyes right now. This is just ridiculous. Now, Shara is left on his own. The last hope for Flipside. Can I just say, we have seen from him a far better game. You know, a lot of people are like, yeah, Shara, not that good, really. You know, that's pretty much the frank assessment people give, but it's been good to see Shara actually make some entries and hold those, you know, sites. He's often seen him playing B over towards Monster and towards Pit. He does it well, but not this time. It's Dennis to shut him down. Fnatic get the win. Beautiful, beautiful stuff there as well. They let it get a little bit close, the Swedes did, but unfortunately Flipside were not able to hold their nerve, and it was a stunning pause, even to an even more stunning force up to give Fnatic the map.
Sure, it's really upsetting because you saw Flipside playing a really good game of CS. And for them to lose out in that fashion is just the perfect summary of ever thinking you may have won against Fnatic. They fell into the trap that Fnatic set every time almost. It's like well, you read into our pause as well. You think, what are we going to do? Where are we going to stack? And they literally just went, oh, that's some really nice Kool-Aid. Let me drink that real quick. And they just literally went for the worst play in theory they could. They changed their default because of that timeout. And I don't know why. I wish I could, you know, almost understand the theory crafting, because they went, let's just go B together, guys. And prior to that, they had been going B sometimes. Shroud provided entries, but they'd taken their time to get there. But I think rather than me explain it, it's probably better to hear it from the desk.
No doubt about it. Gentlemen, take it away, of course. Plenty of juicy goals, I'm sure, arising from that game.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's just one of those tough losses. Yeah, not like this is essentially the words flowing through a lot of people's heads at this point. But I mean, I think they summarized it beautifully on the caster desk, Yanko. That's one of those losses that are just so unbelievably difficult to overcome for Flipside.
Of course, and you have to realize they put one hell of a fight, considering that Fnatic won both pistols as well. They were up 5-0 in the first half, 3-0 in the second half, and Flipside managed to, you know, crawl their way back from that. Shara in the second half had a couple of rounds where he got the, you know, a double kill entering the bomb site. Even in the 29th round, I think, where Krims got that triple kill, he was the one getting 2 kills again. But I think that one round with the CZs, right, obviously probably the most important round of the game. I actually don't think Flipside's call there was bad. They got control of Monster.
Okay.
They stayed grouped as a unit, right? And even though, as you can see, all the players are here towards the side, this is really good. They take their time. They throw nades, Molotovs. They are aware that Fnatic is probably there with at least 4 players at this point. And look, they will be in a 5v3. At this point, they're in a 5v3. All of Maestro is going to get tagged as well. But still, somehow, Fnatic pulls it. They managed to get these crazy kills with the CZs running. I mean, both World 8 and Markelov had 100 HP there, and all of a sudden it all falls apart. I mean, and at this point, it's just Fnatic things, right? I mean, what can you, what do you do about it? It's after a timeout. They have no money. They force. Flipside plays it okay. I really don't think it was a mistake in their decision making. It's just that Fnatic runs out, gets the kills with the CZs, and what do you say about that one, Alex?
What do you say about that one? I mean, I'm going to go ahead and just remind everyone that me and Yanko are literally sitting there in that round going, this is a round Fnatic win. They always seem to do it. They always seem to find it, and it's just something that cannot be quantified or explained necessarily. They just seem to always make not only the pause happen, but also these force buys.
Yeah, and also before the pause, we had that crazy JW round, and that's where I thought, okay, this is where Fnatic actually breaks them. This round is going to crush them. But Flipside bounced back in the following round, you know, and that's when Fnatic takes the timeout, and I don't even know what's going on there. I mean, the worst thing is they themselves said in an interview, I think Flusher did it in a long time, he said, there's nothing special. We just chill, for a while, everyone chills for like half a minute, then someone maybe, because that was when Fnatic was still in the team, Fnatic maybe gives a suggestion what we should do, we do it, someone maybe has a different thing they want to do or whatever, and we just win the round somehow.
I can't help but feel JW actually, like when the rounds get incredibly important, when like staying alive on CT is incredibly important, that's when he sits there and goes, right, I'm going rush connector, I'm going to be rushing underpass. Like he goes for these crazy peaks when the round is so unbelievably important. I think he goes for that unpredictable style of play more so in those crazy rounds, and that's actually where, I mean, not only the clutch, but last round to close out the game, he went to start pushing very, very aggressively on his CT side, and he's one of those individuals that really does just get under the skin of his opponents.
Definitely, and it's a style that's really powerful against underdog teams, right? Teams like Flipsid who rely a lot on their default strategies and so on. What you want to do is disrupt them, not let them do something they're comfortable with, and definitely JW style is suitable.
Yeah, it certainly is. And something we also look forward to is what JW does on Inferno. He's definitely got a notable style of play. Expect to see the man shopping for an apartment, perhaps, over on towards that A site. For now, though, we are going to be taking a break. And when we come back, me and Yanko are going to be breaking down the second map of ESL Pro League. Do not go anywhere.